Hi, everybody. Welcome to the QB School. Here for another Q&A session. I appreciate the feedback with this stuff. I'm excited. Dive into it. Got some good questions about some in-depth, nuanced stuff about West Coast, digit system, in-game situations. Lots of stuff to learn from. Great weekend of ball. I'm excited to get to the top 5 video here later in the week. All sorts of good stuff. Let me know what you think about it. Thank you so much for watching, being a supporter of the channel as this thing continues to grow. I appreciate it. Let's dive into the Q&A. Welcome to the QB School. All right, first question, Michael Connors. Guy knows a lot about ball. Mike McCarthy ran a variation of Walsh's West Coast, and Mike Martz ran a variation of Air Coryell. Just to be clear, the West Coast attacks the field close to the line of scrimmage, while Air Coryell, a descendant of Sid Gilman's offense, attacks the field further away from the line of scrimmage with longer passes. Paul Brown in the 1950s wrote that the average completed pass gained about 9 yards of offense, while the average running play gained about 3. The NFL has been a passing league for a long time. Long time, no doubt. Michael, I appreciate the knowledge. You got all sorts of in-depth information. Always appreciate the Paul Brown references. I will say, to me, that's kind of and granted, you only got so much space to comment on YouTube. I appreciate the comments, the feedback, but I would say that's probably a little bit of an oversimplification about the West Coast versus digit system, in my opinion. What I mean by that is I'll talk about right now. So the West Coast, I think you're right. I think of it as more ball possession passes. And so what does that mean exactly? That means shorter passes, but it's tethered to rhythm and timing. And there's a further element that I think kind of gets glossed over when they talk about that is it's not only rhythm and timing, meaning 3-step, throw a slant, 5-step, throw a shallow cross. It's that most of the reads are what people would call pure progression reads. And what I mean by that is it's 1 to 2 to 3. For instance, it's flat, it's slant to flat to check down, or it's inside slant to outside slant to check down, or it's shallow cross to basic over the ball to check down. So they're pure progression. There's no variation of the reads. It's 1, 2, 3, check it down, no matter what, in most West Coast plays. Now, there's some variations of West Coast, which you're talking about with McCarthy and the Gulf Coast stuff and what he was running in Green Bay, where there will be some, what most places call pure progression with an option, meaning it's a pure progression, but if you get this pitcher look, you can take this option route. And it's not an option route. It's usually a variation of a simple one-on-one route to the backside. And so that, to me, is a little bit more in-depth about what the West Coast is. It's short rhythm, timing plays where everything is based off the rhythm of the quarterback and the timing with the wide receiver, many times underneath routes, but not necessarily. There will be some sluggos, some go routes, some seams. All those things are still part of the West Coast offense. But the essence of it is rhythm and timing, ball control passes, and those short passes take the place of many of the run plays. And that's kind of the essence of how I understand it and how it was taught to me. Now, contrast that with the digit system or Air Coryell or Sid Gilman or however you want to say it, or the greatest show on turf. And the difference for me is that the digit system is made to be multiple. What I mean by that is you can go from 828 to 999 to 928. So you can mix and match all these routes together where that would never happen in the West Coast. The West Coast is you rep the play over and over, and you know what spacing is and what the read is. You know what the drive concept is or what the shallow cross concept is. And that's the same read every time, no matter what the defense. But in the digit system, you're a lot more multiple, meaning you can change a route. It can be 828, 428, 994, 959, all these variations, and you can get into those in-game, in practice, based on what the defense is doing, and then that changes the read for the quarterback. So it's more multiple. And yes, do most of those systems chunk the ball more down the field than the West Coast? Yeah, absolutely. But it doesn't mean that they don't have the same rhythm and timing, slants and spacing and variations that the West Coast has. It's just it's a different approach to have a different kind of system to be able to adapt and be in-game changes. And so that's the thing for me. And what that digit system means for the quarterback is that in the West Coast, it's again, rhythm, timing, pure progression reads. You got to know the pure progressions. You got to know where the ball is supposed to be able to go out. You got to have rhythm and timing with your drops and your wide receivers. In the digit system, it's a little bit easier to insert guys because you just go out there and we'll tell you exactly what the route is. It's an 8, it's a 7, it's a 5, it's a 4, it's a 6, it's a 9. It's a hitch, it's a slant. Like, we'll tell you every single play. And then for the quarterback perspective, it's a little bit, I would say, harder because it's more multiple. So many of the reads are based on what the shell is again, what the coverage is. Is it closed? Is it open? Is it quarters? Is it two zone? Is it two man? Is it Tampa 2? Is it drop 8-2? What's the variations? What are we trying to do with this combination? And so yes, it's more multiple. Yes, you can chunk the ball down the field more. But to me, it's why is it more multiple? It's more multiple to be more adaptive in game and to be able to insert guys faster. It's a lot easier, in my opinion, to learn the digit system if you're a wide receiver than it is to learn the West Coast system, because it's more rhythm timing things that are based off practice and repetitions, where digit, you come in, you memorize 1 through 9, and you can go play. We'll tell you what you got on every single play. So it's that type of difference, I think. And yeah, is the West Coast meant to have more shorter passes? Yes, but it's not just we're going to go out and throw a one-step hitch route. It's rhythm timing based on ball possession to take the place of runs, where the digit system is based on being more multiple, more adaptable in-game and week to week, and be able to insert guys faster so that they can play faster at a faster level quicker. So those are the differences in my opinion. And then the other thing is, for the quarterback-wise, read-wise, West Coast is often pure progression, 1, 2, 3, no matter what. The concept dictates the read, versus the digit is much more tethered to the defense, the shell. What are they trying to do? What are our rules for what we want to do versus middle field closed, middle field open, man or zone, those type of things. So it's just puts a different stress on it for the quarterback. And really it takes advantage of, you want to be able to take advantage of what the quarterback does well. Some quarterbacks have great rhythm and timing, and they want to know exactly what the read is every single time. Other guys have great vision and are able to make those decisions at the line of scrimmage to know where the ball should go and how the ball should get out. And then based on your organization, are you going to have guys stepping in? You have a lot of injuries. Are there new guys in the huddle? Those type of things. It's a lot harder with the West Coast to insert those type of things and have success early, as opposed to the digit system where, hey, a comeback is a comeback, a go route is a go route. Just get out there, line up. We'll tell you where to line up. You're the second number. You got the second number every single time. Stuff like that. Just a different approach. And so I don't like to necessarily get it tethered to who's the grandfather of it. Well, Walsh, Sid Gilman, whatever, who cares? I think nowadays it's about finding the right system for you, for your organization, and then having your players be able to take advantage and understand the foundation and kind of blueprint of why this system exists, what we're trying to do, and then take advantage of it. And to be honest with you, most places nowadays are hybrids and combinations of all of those things and have the capacity to get in and out of both languages and kind of have taken all the best ball and tried to tether it and make it kind of what their players do well and get those players the ball in space. So appreciate the question. That's a great one. Hopefully the answer helped a little bit make sense of it. On to the next. King Sid 24. Hey, first off, love the videos. Been around here for a while. Easily the best analysis channel on YouTube. I appreciate that. Now my question. I'm a Patriots fan, so obviously everybody knows how good Tom is at reading defenses and all that. They've also had a great OC in McDaniels. So when it comes to the fourth quarter of these critical games, who's calling the plays? The quarterback or the OC? General question for all teams, but I'm more so curious about the Patriots, if you have any knowledge of that. So I was on the practice squad for 2 months with New England, and I'm going to say, and I don't remember the exact who's calling who in the plays as far as that 2-minute situation. I will say that every organization is different. I would imagine that McDaniels gives him a call in the headset, and Tom usually goes with that call 95% of the time. If for some reason he has something that he absolutely wants to run, he probably has the freedom to make that decision at the line of scrimmage. Most organizations do that nowadays with the radio because it's so easy to communicate. It makes it faster. The quarterback doesn't have to necessarily think. At the line of scrimmage, you're going that much faster in those critical seconds where every second matters at the end of games, at the end of halves. And the Patriots have been the best at the end of half, end of games for a long time. And I'm pretty sure McDaniels calls the play. Brady's exact. They've talked about it before many times, both in practice, on the sideline. They know exactly what's coming, what they want to do with the read, what they want to do with that type of in-game situation, and it goes from there. It's just too easy to communicate with the headset and the quarterback at the line of scrimmage to be able to go. The other part about that is that most times it's dependent on the quarterback. So, I've been places where the quarterback absolutely wants to call the play in the 2-minute situation. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure how great that is. The play callers get paid to make those type of decisions in those games. Quarterbacks that are playing, they might have a rhythm and feel like, hey, I want to throw a hitch, or hey, I want to throw a slant, or I know I've got this one-on-one matchup that I really like, but the play caller usually knows that too. And so it just goes faster if the play caller is making that decision. Now, back in the day, that wasn't always the case. I mean, quarterbacks used to call every play, and then in a 2-minute situation, you'd almost need to have the quarterback call the play because wouldn't want to look over, get a signal, or have the play run in. But now with the technology advances in the helmet and how they're able to communicate, I just think the majority of them have the offense coordinators call the play. The quarterback has the capacity, probably in many organizations, to override it if they really want to call a play. But you better make sure that works. It's that type of situation. I'm trying to think of a few organizations where the quarterback did call the 2-minute situations. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure it helped. I think it takes the burden off of the quarterback, just one less thing to worry about when you're playing at the line of scrimmage. But usually in those 2-minute situations, it's going to almost always be the coordinator, with the head coach having the ability to throw in, hey, in a crucial situation, I want to see this player, I want this guy to get the ball. But at this point in the game and in the week, the quarterback, coordinator, head coach are usually on a pretty good page about what they want to do in those situations, who they're trying to get the ball to, what this play or concept is trying to do. So almost always nowadays with the mic and the headset, it's going to be the coordinator calling the plays, usually a simplified variation of plays, simple formation, simple play, be able to call it, get it executed at a high level, something they've repped over and over and over. That's the other thing about those situations that you always want to get into. You don't want to throw out a new play. It's going to be a base core concept that they put in minicamp 1 that they're going to be really good at. And so that's the essence of how that communication works, those in-game situations at the end of half or end of game. So thanks for the question. Appreciate it. Next one, Gaming Fanatic. Hi. I was wondering if you could explain what happens in in-game situations. 2-minute warning. How does the play calling change? And do you sometimes just make a brand new play with your coach? Is there anything different than just normal play calling? So, perfect segue. Thank you, Gaming Fanatic. Yes. So, back into who calls the play. Usually the offensive coordinator. But is there normally a different system or shorter abbreviated system for you to do play calling? Yes, absolutely. It's usually just a formation and 1 or 2 words max. And it's usually bread and butter plays. That's the other thing. You're looking for completions. You're usually looking for first downs. You're looking for chunk plays. Oftentimes it's better to get an incompletion than a 3-yard pass tackled in bounds, depending on what the situation is. But for me, I always wanted to make sure our best players touched the ball as quickly as possible, and we were able to know how many yards we needed per play to kind of keep the chains moving to give us a chance at the end of half or end of game. And so what I mean by that is, are we at 25 seconds left in the game, or are we at 90 seconds left in the game with 3 timeouts? It's a lot different play calling, a lot different mindset as far as what we needed to do in those in-game situations. But again, this comes to me from practicing these type of games, these type of situations in practice. So it's situational football. You hear that all the time in the NFL. How are they at situational football? 3rd down, red zone, end of half game situations where they have to come out and really, it's a huge swing, especially the end of half. That's one of my favorite stats is end of half, especially if you've deferred, if you go in, get a touchdown, field goal, and you get the ball back, that's a huge momentum swing. You keep their offense off the field for almost an hour. You get multiple scores before they even touch the ball. Those are huge moments in a game. And so how does it actually change? I think it changes by being more simplified. You're able to play faster. But in the NFL, with the advantageous kind of way that they communicate, where it's not, you don't see guys holding up posters. You don't see 4 signal guys on the sideline throwing out crazy signals. It's, hey, da-da-da-da-da, this is the play, and we go. It's that simple. You have the capacity to be a lot faster at the line of scrimmage. And they've practiced these reps so many times in training camp, OTAs, mini camp, that they know these end of game situations or end of half situations, how critical they are, usually have a plan for who they want to attack. But again, to me, it's always about getting a completion, getting that first down, and then what's the chunk? You probably need a chunk play at some point. And then when you get into the red zone, where do we need to be? Is it the 35-yard line? Is it the 30? Which way is the wind blowing? Do we have a hash issue if we're kicking a field goal? All of those little nuanced details that kind of are sorted out long before that situation ever comes up. But you got to have plans to move your players and get those plays lined up so you have the best chance to win the game at the end of the half, because they are so important. So many NFL games come down to the last possession or last few possessions, so you want to be able to execute in those situations. And then defensively, you want to pin your ears back and take some chances. You always hear that. Prevent defense prevents you from winning, that type of thing. I think you just live and die with your bread and butter, what you do well. If you bring it, if you pressure the quarterback, keep pressuring the quarterback. If you play coverage, zone coverage, and drop, rely on your big four up front to get pressure, do that. Be yourself, live and die with your principles, your guidelines as far as what you do offensively and defensively. But to me, offensively, it's simplified. It's 1 or 2 words in and out of the huddle, doing plays that you're familiar with, that you're comfortable with, that you know the read, you know what to anticipate, and you're getting your best players the ball as often as possible. So hopefully that helps. Gaming Fanatic, love the question. Last one, Tonkney, like it. Going to be the fastest growing channel on YouTube. I appreciate it. I really appreciate the support so far. I've had fun doing these Q&As. Keep coming at me with good questions. I really appreciate the support. Also, please, if you haven't, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications. I really appreciate the growing kind of engagement, going back and forth. It's a lot of fun for me to talk football with people who love and care about football as much as I do. And it's fun to see this channel and community continue to grow. So thank you so much. Hit that subscribe button for me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.